Happy Sunday, everybody. Meteorologist Brittany Van Voorhees here in the WCNC Charlotte Weather Center. Today is actually going to be a fabulous day, so I hope you all are ready and enjoying time outside or about to. Um, Starting off the day, just want to show, oh, good morning, Kels. That's my best friend Kelsey. She's always on and always watching. And yesterday we didn't do a stream and she messaged me. I was sad about it. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so we're starting off the day with a little bit more cloud cover, of course. If you were out and about early this morning, we were completely clouded over. Now we're just mostly cloudy for the most part, and we're eventually going to become partly cloudy this afternoon. So we're going from pretty much 100% cloud cover down to 80 now, I would say, and then close to 60 by this afternoon. Good morning, Joy. Today, though, is really actually overall going to be a pretty nice day across the Charlotte area. Of course, yesterday we had all that abundant sunshine. However, temperatures were a little bit cooler, right around 56, which is pretty close to where we should be this time of year. But the warming trend has begun, and it is going really all the way until the end of February. No rain to track on Doppler radar today, so no issues there. But you can see other portions of the Carolinas dealing with a little bit of flooding there in some of their lakes, but nothing locally. So this afternoon, we are partly cloudy with a temperature near 61 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a high around 70. So this is substantial warmth that we are not used to here in the Carolinas in February. Of course, tomorrow is President's Day, so if you have plans to be outside, maybe you're off of work or the kids are out of school, you will have a lot of dry time, but also we're going to be tracking a few showers too. So look at Futurecast. You can see the clearing conditions by this afternoon, a few breaks in the clouds, but overnight into Monday morning, we are going to be tracking more cloud cover building in. We talk about clouds a lot in meteorology because it's not just the fact that they have an impact to our forecast, but also sometimes you can kind of know, you almost know what the forecast is based on clouds. For example, if you saw a thunderstorm cloud off in the distance, it was really tall, you would say, oh, look at that. Thunderstorm cloud, an updraft. That means we're unstable, things of that nature. But what you'll notice about tomorrow morning is that we see abundant cloud cover to start off the day. A little bit of patchy fog will be possible here, but this is ahead of our next storm system, which is very typical. We have a southwesterly wind. We're a little bit more muggy, things of that nature, and it's one of the reasons, too, why we're warmer this upcoming week. That will prompt a few areas of rain, especially north of the I-40 corridor, especially in the mountains as we head toward Monday afternoon. Then what tries to happen is it looks like a front tries to push through the area. This will bring us a few more showers possible across the Piedmont on Tuesday. So again, tomorrow we're dry in the Charlotte area, but Tuesday a few showers will be possible. Notice though, it never really pushes all the way through, and we could see some clearing north of I-40 on Tuesday afternoon and evening, but it looks like clouds will be pretty abundant across the Charlotte area as the front never pushes all the way through. That brings me to my point of one of the reasons why we stay so dang warm over the next few days. So today we're seeing pollen levels because of the warmth and the cloud cover and not a lot of rain to wash it away, going back up. So we yesterday we're at a 6.6, today we're at a 7.1, tomorrow we're at an 8.5, again with that high around 70. And then as we continue to warm up this upcoming week, we're talking at 10, potentially even close to 11 and above that by Wednesday and Thursday. This is substantial because it's not just that the pollen levels are starting to start early, but what oftentimes can happen, especially this time of year, is that if you have a lot of warmth in January and February, the pollen levels start to go up. We start to see those early spring blooms. What can sometimes happen is that, especially folks who work in agriculture, farms, we have peaches are a big thing in South Carolina. Those plants and those crops will start to also bloom early. But if we get a late season freeze at any point in March, which is relatively typical for March standards here in the deep South, that can sometimes kill the crop before it's ever able to really start its blooming season. So this is one of the reasons why, yes, sometimes it's nice to be warm in winter because it's a nice little change, but why we still overall try to be closer to that average. So extremes like this aren't necessarily always a good thing, of course, unless you have outdoor plans and you don't want to wear a heavy coat, things of that nature. And of course, when we talk about extremes, oftentimes we refer to the fact that Earth is, it's always trying to get into equilibrium. So when you have extreme heat, you have extreme cold. And if you looked at that wide view, you can kind of see that extreme cold over toward the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast. But of course, that means that we have extreme heat potentially here across the deep South. And this is not just in the Carolinas, it's all the way up toward the Virginias, all the way west toward Kentucky, Tennessee, deep Texas, and deep parts there of Florida as well. So you can see a 90% chance that we're above average for the next 6 to 10 days. And you'll notice this in that 7 to 10 day forecast. So One of the reasons, again, why we're talking about the potential for extreme heats is because a record is likely to be broken, truthfully, by Thursday here in Charlotte. So I'm going to go over a little bit of data with you because y'all know I'm a data gal, love numbers. So the hottest temperature ever recorded, which you can see on my graphic that I made this morning, is 82 degrees. Hottest temperature ever recorded in February. Got to add that little asterisk. It has happened a total of 3 times. The first time was back in 1930. The second time actually was for almost 80 years. It wasn't until 2011. And then the most recent time was actually in 2018. So it's been about 5 years. So again, we've hit 82 a total of 3 times. And this is ever in recorded history. We started taking records at Charlotte Douglas International back in 1878. So this is in about 150 years of records. However, again, we've hit 82 3 times. We've hit 81 twice, and we've hit 80 degrees in February 10 times. So that's a total of 15 times in the last 145 years. And again, you would do 145 times 28 because, of course, there's 28 days in February, and of course, you'd have to add in some of those leap years too. So this is substantial, not just because it's a record for February 23rd, but this would also be a record for just February in general. And that is just as of note because that means that somewhere else across the country, right, we're probably going to be dealing with some record lows. So it's something to keep in mind, when we talk about overall warming. I did a story over the summer about heat waves, and the overall consensus is that we still get cold waves, of course, but with climate change, we're kind of seeing a 2-to-1 ratio with heat waves, whereas back in the 50s and 60s, heat waves and cold waves were a 1-to-1. Now it's a 2-to-1 due to the heat waves. And at least since I've been here, in Charlotte, we haven't seen really a substantial heat wave like this in wintertime. Oftentimes, we're talking spring, summer, and fall. So here's that 7-day forecast, of course, sponsored by Guy Roofing. You can see tomorrow's temperature near 70, and we're honestly just going all the way up from here. The big weather story over the next 7 days is going to be that above average warmth, 75 Tuesday, 78 Wednesday, 83 on Thursday. And truthfully, that's kind of conservative. Some of our models are hinting at even warmer temperatures. Now, by Friday and Saturday, it does look like we get some of that slightly cooler air and drier air moving back in, but it's still going to keep our temperatures above average. 70 on Saturday with a few showers. And of course, that'll be the first home match for Charlotte FC back at Bank of America Stadium. And as we look beyond past the 7 to 10 day forecast and we enter the end of February, temperatures do look to stay above average, still in the 60s and 70s. So it doesn't look like we're going to get that opportunity for snow in February. What I will say is that typically February is our snowiest month of the year, but March 2nd is actually the snowiest day, the time we've seen the most snow on record in Charlotte. So hope is not all lost. I would say that if we get to about the middle of March and we haven't seen anything, your hopes can go down. I mean, they definitely go down for me personally, probably once we hit March 2nd and beyond. But I would say by mid-March, hopes go down even more so. So I know that for snow lovers, it's not the news you want to hear, but definitely no snow over the next week and likely none over the next 7 to 10 days as well. We're going to be talking a lot about this record warmth over the next few days, so stay tuned, stay updated. This is not heat that necessarily is dangerous, again, because we're not talking about 115 degrees during the summer, but I do think it's important for folks to at least stay weather aware and just consider, of course, your friends, family members who maybe work in agriculture, crops, really, really important, especially with what we're currently dealing with across the country. I hope everyone has a happy, safe, and healthy Sunday. It is going to be overall a really nice day to get outside. Again, partly sunny with temperatures near 61 degrees. Enjoy the rest of your day. If you're off work tomorrow for President's Day, have a wonderful afternoon with yourself, friends, family, kiddos, whatever you got going on. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your work week. I will see you back here on Wake Up Charlotte weekend, next weekend, and of course, off and on throughout the week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this upcoming week. Have a great day, everyone.